All right, we're gonna have a quick little discussion about
Y'all can get a little closer.
about what we got going on right here. We like to welcome everybody. Thank everybody for coming out. I see a lot of cool people in the building, a lot of important people. You know, I know a lot of y'all history. I grew up with a bunch of y'all. I know what y'all up to. This is the Say It Ain't So music event. Shout out to Dmts for putting this on. You want to give us a little introduction to what you got going on today?
Yes. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming today. Say It Ain't So music event. Literally, it was created because I just was looking around the community and seeing that certain towns get a lot of support from their community, their state reps, their senators. And when you come down to New Britain, it's like every time a local business or entrepreneur is trying to do something, they don't get no support, no resources, no funding. So I reached out to a couple of my state reps who represent us, Loeb, Sanchez, the team. And he was like, listen, I'll fund the whole event if you could put an event together to try to raise money for local businesses. So that's where we at today, just to bring awareness to the importance of what local businesses can actually do for the community when it comes to creating jobs and investing back into programs and things like that.
Yeah, that's very important. We need, local businesses to strive and, be successful so they can help the youth and we grow up in a positive, helpful environment. Because we know growing up in New Britain, it wasn't always that good. So I appreciate to see people like you trying to make a change, make a difference, give kids opportunities. You want to talk about some of the things you're doing currently for the city of New Britain?
Yeah. So New Britain Legacies is one of my youth programs that I've been running for going on 9 years now. And we occupy St. Matthews around the corner, just working with kids, youth development, mentorship, things of that nature to really like give them that leadership or that mentorship that they never had, whether it's a father figure, an uncle, a friend, anything. Mm-hmm. So these kids right now, a lot of people think that they're just out here running wild just cause, not realizing that there's a lot of like dark things that's happening within their life that a lot of people don't even know about, so they're being judged from a distance. As opposed to me, I was that little kid, 11 years old, running around, juvenile detention. A lot of people don't know I went through that whole system at a young kid, 6 months in juvenile detention,
I know.
13 years old, you know what I'm saying? So to see kids now and see them going through that same thing that I was going through, I'm looking at it from a distance like, wow, like them kids is just hurt. Like they just don't really got nobody to really talk to. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to be that person to say, nah, listen, I've been down that road. You could talk to, you can open up. And also on the flip side, you also need that backing and that support, meaning the community, the local businesses, the ones that put funding in the program, sponsor programs, music programs, dance programs, etc. So it's that relationship.
Got you. I saw a meme the other day that said, be the old head that you never had. And that really like meant a lot to me because I try to do the same thing. I try to be the old head for these young boys that I never had because growing up, I didn't really have nobody trying to look out for us. And that's dope that you say that because it's all about the future, right? We try to help these kids so they could be better for us in 10, 20 years from now. Let us know what you got planned for the future and what's going on in the future with you.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like, I don't know if a lot of people know, but like, since I've been pushing real hard with my program, we don't own the facility we're in. We at St. Matthews, so there's only a time limit to where you can be somewhere with your own program. So we've been striving and writing grants and working with the community to raise money to try to get our own facility. And one thing I will say is that we're closer than ever having our own multi-sport facility here in Connecticut. And that's one of my biggest goals is because to build a platform, we aging out when it comes to like other programs where they're not allowing a lot of teenagers in their programs. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of people is like pushing the teenagers out because they're trouble. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to. So I'm like, if I could build a platform to capitalize on that 18. I read something where it said in Connecticut, 80% of the crime that's committed is our youth between 15 and 23 years old. So if 80% of the crime that's being committed in Connecticut is between age 15 and 23, what the fuck are we doing with our kids? Like, why are we not building platforms and resources and funding for our kids? So it's like when I see things like that, I say, nah, we gotta change that. And this is why events like this need to happen. Like, we need to bring awareness to what's going on.
That's what's up, yo. Shout out to Devon Tanks, Leo. Been holding down with Britain forever. Anybody got any questions in the audience y'all want to ask? Anybody got anything they want to say? Nope, y'all quiet and shy. Y'all ready for Bishop?
Well,
Oh, what's good, Bishop? Talk to me.
What's some of your goals for 2024? What you plan on doing?
One of my biggest goals, and to tie it into this event too, and it's good that you asked, is that a lot of times when we start talking about like politics, a lot of people wanna shy away from it like it's not important. But one thing we don't really realize is that everything starts with politics. Like if you really take the time to think about it, when it's time to get a job or a business or a certain position, politics is involved. When it comes to basketball and sports, politics is involved. Entertainment, politics. Funding, passing laws, prison system, politics. So we have to now understand that we have to be in the game. Whether we believe it or not, we have to be in the game. It's like trying to get a foul call, but you're in the stands. You're a fan yelling at the referee. You're not even in the game. You ain't even got a say. So when we see things happen in our community and we see our businesses struggling and things, resources is not being dumped into our schools, when there's 160 something schools in New Britain and New Britain High is on the list at 161, meaning our kids is not reading, they're not passing, they're not graduating, and we okay with that? Like we literally is in the community just living our regular lives and we're okay with knowing that's going on. So my biggest goal is to bring awareness to the power of politics, the power of voting, the power of local voting. Like, I'm not even talking about presidential. Let's leave that alone for a second. But real change comes on the local level. You know, I was just showing my man something earlier about it's happening all over Connecticut, right? Where New Britain has 74,000 residents. And out of 74,000 residents, 33 registered voters, but there's only 10,000 active voters. Meaning that for the past 10 years, New Britain and other mayors been winning with 4,000, 5,000 votes. That's crazy because we're still just sitting home on Tuesday when they're out at the polls, the 40 up that's supporting specific groups, and they're voting and winning with 4,000 votes. And then when they get a $5 million budget to take care of our community, it's not going to the community. Why? Because we're not the ones voting. It's going to the areas that vote. Look at the roads of the people who live in different areas. Their roads is always paved. Their parks is always nice. You know, everything in their community, they have what they want because they're voting. So they're looking at us like, yeah, y'all can talk all y'all want because y'all don't even come out. Yeah. So my goal, Bishop, is to increase that age 18 to 26 years old because just us alone can move seats. And it may not happen in 1 year, but I guarantee you, little by little, one thing they do care about is their position. And if they know that 2,000, 3,000 votes will take them out of their position, they're going to start listening. And when they start listening, they're going to start putting their money where their mouth is, just like the reps that I had y'all filling out today, Sanchez and Lopes. I told them about an event like this. They said, listen, I'll pay for the whole thing. Get the people out there and educate them on the power of voting. I don't care who they vote for, but just educate them to be a part of the game. And my goal is to let everybody know, like, we need to be a part of the game.
Definitely. That was a great question, Bishop. What's up? Anybody else got a question or something they want to ask? I see a hand up in the back.
What up, man?
What's good? Oh, Chill Shump on the beat. What's good, baby?
What's going on, man? Thanks. What up, dog?
How you doing, man?
How you doing? I'm good.
Appreciate you.
My question is more or less, or just I guess you could call it more of an open topic of discussion, right?
Yep.
Everybody, I feel like the whole state knows that Britain breeds athletic fucking talent, right? Mm-hmm. And it always comes down, we've seen it, when we used to keep it in the city, right? You see great results that come from our city.
Yep.
New Britain High being fucking super dominant in football at a certain point in time. One of the top 10 teams in the region. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I feel like more and more, as far as like, you know, the way like the grades have been and GPAs from a lot of students, I've seen parents take their kids out. Perfect example. I'll just give you a couple. Byron Jones, New Britain bred, he went to St. Paul's, he made his way to the NFL. David and Jordan Reed, David didn't even make it to New Britain High. Jordan didn't even make it to New Britain High. And this dude was like a prominent tight end for the Redskins for that time being. Do you have an idea or any type of plan to try to keep our talent pool inside the city? Or is there any way that, what's our answer?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
That's amazing. Good
And
question, Sean.
That's very powerful. And I'm going to tell you, like, so I have been talking to the school, the superintendent, the board of education, and I also been talking to the community, the parents. And to bridge that gap, to answer your question, one thing that I hear is that, and they make a valid point, is that the education system. I'm gonna give you an example, right? My son, you know, Esco, my stepson, Esco, right? When everybody was going to school at New Britain High, all his friends, my oldest son Devon was at New Britain High, Tyrone was at New Britain High. He was like, you know what, like I want to go to New Britain High, and it was a struggle because going to New Britain High from a prep school, from a school where we feel the education was where it's at, and New Britain High being last on the list, it's like, are you going to be focused enough with the 90% negative? Do we throw our kid in that environment and see if something positive come out of it, or do we keep them over here? So we decided to keep him over there. Now, I'm gonna give another example of another friend of mine where he decided to send his son after being in the prep school for 3 years to New Britain High. And his last year, he completely dropped all classes, all grades, and he failed. He got sucked into the dark hole, sucked into the system. So it's like, when you look at it, if we can focus, and when I say we, I'm not blaming the teachers and the board of education no more. With we as a culture, fathers, dads, uncles, if we could focus on bringing our kids together and teaching them the value of what's supposed to be happening in school, then now the education system in New Britain High will increase, and now parents will feel more comfortable than keeping their kids in there to get a good education, because sports is going to bring the best out of the whole community if we keep the talent. But if, like, you're right, but if the talent is not there, then they're going other places, and that's why these other communities are succeeding, because they have a culture.
I see it happen a lot, right? So, like, we can speak about Supreme Athlete, right? Which is a athletic club that's kind of prominently based out in Hartford, but he take kids from everywhere, and these are kids that are initially somewhat bringing they're by the time they start and they're working at it for some time, by the time they're done with high school, they're looking at some type of athletic scholarship. A lot of kids with D1 coming out of here, you know what I mean? Is that something that we can bring to the city? Here's what I know. I know there's a lot of good talent out here that we can sit there and breed and hone in and take that where it needs to. But again, it also takes at home parents, make sure they on their kids with their grades and all that. But I feel like also needs a conversation with the Board of Education.
Correct,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
Are they, and again, this is maybe me jumping the gun, but is something like that receptive to what you got going on?
So this is the thing, and if a lot of people may not know, like the Board of Education, they're voted elected officials as well. So if you look at New Britain's Board of Education, none of them is us that got these kids that live here in New Britain. They've been in there, just been voted for the past 20 years, and they're dictating what they think is best for our kids. So to answer your question is either one, we got to get involved and see who's on the Board of Education and bring them these ideas. When they hold these meetings at the Board of Education, you know how many parents is at the meetings?
Give me a number, bro, because I don't know.
3? Maybe 2. Maybe 2. And I'm talking about they're making decisions on New Britain High's budget of what we're going to do with $20 million.
Wow.
This is the type of conversations that's happened.
Wow.
Buying new math programs that cost $10 million, and it's not the math program, it's the mentorship, the education, the support, the school, the system. So to answer your question, we have to get involved in our system. Because it's either they're going to help us do what we see fit because we have ideas, or we're going to vote in people that we know. You don't have to have no specific degree to be on the Board of Education. You just get voted in by your people. And then you come up with the ideas of the budget that they propose, and you say, you know what, I think $1 million should go here, and $1 million should go here, and $1 million. But if we're not in those seats, and 80% of our kids is black and brown, people are making decisions about our money that we pay for taxes and our kids without us involved. Why? Because we don't even understand that we should be voting and in those seats. That's where it starts. It starts with taking back those seats, or letting them know that's in those seats. We voted you in those seats, and these are the ideas that we want as parents and as uncles and as, You understand what I'm saying? So we need to get there first.
Absolutely.
Great question.
Appreciate you.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely.
Question, man.
All
Anybody
right.
else got anything they want to add before we get into these performances?
I got, well, back to what you were saying, hold on, back to what Chuck was saying, where do y'all think it changed that? Because I know when I was in high school, like you said, back when we was in high school, football was dominant, like.
Absolutely,
Brandon High was killing
state
it.
champs.
So, but you look at an individual like Mike McLeod, right? He coming from New Britain, but he excelled, he thrived, he was in top 10 in our class, graduated, what did he get a scholarship to, Yale?
Yeah.
For football, he didn't
That was
care.
academic, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, no, but he got a scholarship,
Yeah.
he balled out, did his thing, whatever, he wasn't trying to go to the league, and then he went and did whatever he had to do after, so there are kids who excel, and like you said, like academically, on the football side or the basketball side, we've seen plenty of talent with basketball, baseball, all of that, so where do y'all think that changed?
Well, it not only, we got my man behind you, Bishop, D1, scholarship, going to school for free, New Britain High. So you know, and they here.
Absolutely.
They're here. It's the percent that we're talking about. They'll slip out. They'll slip out and make it. But also too, back then, if you think about it, we had a culture though. Like the community had a culture. We had things going on together. It was a little bit different, and it's getting worse and worse as the education and the education and education. I was talking to a security guard yesterday at New Britain High. We went at the gym, and he told me, he said, there's so many fights, we can't even keep up. There's so many fights, we can't even keep up. There's 22,000 and some change people in one school, bunched up, going through their own individual issues in life.
Yeah, and as a parent, you got to decide between your kid's safety, education, or athletics. That becomes a tough decision to make. And you're probably going to choose education and safety over the athletics most of the time, and take your kids elsewhere.
So we gotta focus on that first. And to close it out, I'm gonna kick off the performance. And yes.
You about to perform?
Yeah, I was.
I thought this was the performance.
I was the special guest on the flyer that nobody didn't know about. So I'm about to talk to my people for a little while.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah, you do that.
All right. Hey, M. Dot.